Dragon Ball Super Card Game Masters has a lot of Frieza cards and Frieza decks to choose from. And today we will be going over my 5 best Frieza decks. Roll the video! As with all of our videos, let's start with a breakdown. So I'm giving you 5 best Frieza decks. Okay, disclaimer, they're not the best because the best one, Swap Frieza, yellow one, isn't on the list because I have covered it recently. I'm giving you 5 different decks. You'll find the links for them in the description below, as well as the link to our TCGPLAYER affiliate account, and we'll just wrap it up with a skipped summary. Let's go. Quick note, we have a TCGPLAYER affiliate link in the description below. If you're buying any of these cards, please consider using our TCGPLAYER link. It helps us out a lot, and especially when we are now increasing and scaling up. Guys, some amazing things are coming and every little bit helps. Starting off with BT27 Frieza, the newest deck from History of Z, Golden Frieza, Shining Pride. What does it do? So it's a mid-range value deck. Everything has value in this one. You play 11 cost bodies for free. Yeah, and one of those is your Secret Rare. So yeah, you can play Secret Rare for free. Every card has value. Everything draws or removes or combos or just gets rid of markers or forces your opponent to crit a life or you draw 2 cards. There's always something in there. This is not a clear-cut deck which has an upwards narrow progression where like you start here and then you end here on turn 3. No, instead you just play a big toolbox basically, and then you try to overrun your opponent eventually. It has an in-archetype SER, one of the best ones in yellow in my opinion. Amazing draw power potential. Like your draw power is insane in this deck, especially with a Metacooler that we will be going over very soon, because that one says the opponent either crits a life or you draw 2 and you play him for free. You know what's gonna happen, right? You have lots of control tools as well. Like I said, everything does something, and you're more of a late game type of deck. This is not a deck that's gonna win on turn 3. Okay, so here is the deck list. Like I said, link is in the description below. Let's start with the leader. So you have Activate Main, you add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, you place one of your yellow Frieza clan cards into the drop. This is going to be important later. You awaken at 5 lives or less and you draw a card. This is great because you have extra draw and self-awakener effect. Once you awaken though, you become Golden Frieza Shining Pride. Auto, you discard 1 from hand, and when he attacks you draw 2. Like I've said, you draw like a madman in this deck. And then you have Activate Main, you place one of your yellow Frieza clan cards into the drop to play one of your 11 drops for free. When it comes to the 11 drops, we have 2 options. First one is the Metacooler. Metacooler is pretty cool. He does have double strike. It doesn't really come into play that often, but he has the ability offering limit 1. This means that when you play him, your opponent can either crit a life or let you draw 2. And as well, he has a way to add markers to your Unison. Now yes, you do run a Unison in this deck. It is a Frost Unison. We will be going over that one. The other 11 drop that you have is this Mecha Frieza. This one is just a Unison killer. When it's played, you choose one of your opponent's rest mode battle cards, KO it, and then you rip 2 markers from one of their Unisons. It has Successor, which means you can play Mecha Frieza over Mecha Frieza, just 2 of them for free, and then just kill 4 markers from a Unison and get rid of 2 cards. It is a very, very good one. And speaking of the Frost Unison, so this is your Z Unison. The big thing about it is that for -1, you switch one of your yellow Frieza clan cards with an energy cost of 11 to active mode. It basically allows you to attack again. And it also has the ability to play 1 Frieza clan card with an energy cost of 11 from your hand. That's how you can get these big cards out. Speaking of big cards, you also have your secret rare, which is also an 11 cost. It's a double striker. It does a lot of things. It warps cards, ignoring barrier, but most importantly, until the end of your opponent's next turn, every battle card that they play is played in rest mode, even if it has barrier. And it's a 40k double striker. And you can also restand it with Frost, making it 40k double dual. Now, I did mention that this deck has a lot of value engine, and you do have a lot of value cards here. You have the Cooler. Cooler is very good. He's a dual attacker, 20k. You play him for just 1 energy. And what you basically get to do is when you attack, you can combo attack or use blocker. You can combo with a card from your hand, and then you can also draw a card. That is great recycling ability. A lot of this revolves around the Wickedest Clan Z Extra. You will play this one as soon as possible. You are putting a lot of cards under it, but then you can just remove free cards from under it to negate the permanence of your 11 drops, such as the Meta Cooler, for example. You can just negate the permanent that it can't attack, and then on top of everything else that you're getting with it, it also becomes a double striker, which is pretty cool. The rest of the cards are basically, you know, light value engine. You have your SR. This one is kind of a finisher. Not really, but it does have a lot of value here in the deck. It does allow to attack twice to KO a Saiyan, so that one is pretty good. And finally, you also have the 6 cost Frieza, for example. You play him, you choose one of your opponent's cards and you switch it to rest mode and negate its skills for the turn. So just negate skills and swing 25 crit. All of these put cards under the Wickedest Clan. So yeah, there is a lot to go over in this deck. We have a couple of these in green as well. So we'll start with green-yellow Successor Frieza. Successor Frieza is amazing. It's not a meta deck, but it's very fun to play. It has some very cool abilities. So what does it do? It removes your opponent's battle cards to play your own battle cards. So basically, to play Successor, you need to pay a cost and sacrifice battle cards with the total cost equal to the cost of the card that you want to play. So if you want to play like an 8 drop, you sacrifice 4 and 4 or 6 and 2. This leader allows you to sacrifice your opponent's cards to play yours. Yeah, you play your things for very cheap by killing their things. It's amazing. It's a green-yellow deck, so you have access to a ton of removal. You have Flying Nimbus, you have Dormant Removal Floodgates. You have Flying Nimbus, you have Dormant Potential. It can go crazy aggro early on. It can go insane aggro early on, provided that you see all of the pieces that you need. This includes your boss monster, your Zarbon. So yeah, you need those two minimum. Then like the new SR is really, really good. It has tons of options via battle cards. So battle cards do a lot in this deck. You play a bunch of them and each has its own effect. The boss monster is a floodgate. So immediately you're running like 11 to 12 floodgates in the deck. One of them is a barrier removal. You have a way to rip Unisons. You have a way to rip a barrier from your opponent's cards. So with the new Zarbon. So there's a lot. You also have a massive Z leader, a colossal Z leader to help you survive in clutch situations, but you do struggle with combo power because combo power is not free. Unlike in Fusion World, 10k combos are not free, and that's where the real problem lies with the deck. Successor Frieza is a pretty neat one. So you're running a lot of archetype cards here. You might recognize the boss monster from the previous decks, but let's just first focus on the leader. So what do? Activate main once per turn, add one card from your life to your hand. You look at top 5 from your deck, add one green or yellow Frieza to your hand, and then you shuffle your deck. You awaken at 4 or less. Then you draw one and you switch one of your energies to active mode. Now the fun begins when you actually get to awaken, because like I've explained with the deck, you can use your opponent's cards to Successor. That's the leader's permanent. So that's basically the one thing that you're doing. Everything else might as well be flavor text. Activate Battle does help you to combo for free with these big 10k combo cards, and you do still draw when you attack. So that part is really nice. But the card that brought the entire deck into light again is Zarbon Attendant. This one is from BT27. When this card is played, choose up to one keyword skill on your opponent's battle cards and negate it for the turn. And during that turn, the next time you activate Successor on a Frieza card in your hand, reduce its cost by 2. Guys, a lot of these require that you pay. I think all of them actually do. So you're just reducing cost of your Successor cards. That is massive. You play the Zarbon for 1 energy and you draw a card. That's great. So what does this skill negation actually do? It allows you to negate barrier. If you're new to the game, you can't Successor with barrier cards, your opponent's barrier cards. You need to remove the keyword skill first. That is where you play Zarbon. And speaking of these barrier cards, right? BT27 just brought us a new boss monster. This is Frieza, Planetary Emperor, 9 cost Successor for 1 energy. You need to have 3 or more. You draw a card, permanent. If you have a green-yellow multicolored card in your energy, you reduce the combo cost of this card by 1. So normally it's a 1 cost 5k, but most of the time it's just gonna be a free 5k. And then it says auto. When this card is played by a Successor skill, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier and KO it, and then choose up to one of your opponent's unisons and remove 2 markers from it. This is huge because Frieza Swap did struggle removing barrier cards. You would only have to rely on Solidarity. Yeah, that card is strong, but now you have an in-archetype way to just rip away those pesky barrier cards. And then, like, last but not the least, you also have a boss monster here. Boss monster is a double striker, dual attacker, 30k. Now, pay attention to this. Successor for 1 green, 1 yellow, and 1 colorless energy. You draw 2 cards. What does that mean? That means that Zarbon over here, when you play Zarbon, you reduce the cost by 1 yellow and 1 generic, right? So this means that the boss monster is now just 1 green energy. Yeah, boss monster is just 1 green, draw 2 cards. Permanent, you can basically charge him in active mode into your energy as long as you have another green-yellow multicolored card there. And the auto is just insane. When this card is played, your opponent can't attack until the end of their turn unless they switch one of their active mode cards to rest mode each time. So even if they survive, you're crippling them like crazy. The other green deck on the list is Racist Frieza. So yeah, Racist Frieza is my personal favorite because this one is just hand destruction. That's it. It's hand destruction. But no, better yet, it's random hand destruction. So usually in Dragon Ball, when you discard your opponent's cards from your opponent's hand, they pick which cards to discard. Now you're the one who's picking, but randomly. So it's a deck where both players pray to RNG. You know, you pray to hit something good, they pray that you don't just snipe their secret rare, which happens very often actually. It has solid draw power, it has these little loops which it can do to draw cards. It has a crippling permanent though, that's why it's called a Racist Frieza. You can't play Saiyans in it. Yeah, you just flat out can't even put Saiyans into the deck. Yeah, that's the entire joke behind the name. So the permanent is crippling because you're lacking an actual finisher and it doesn't really have a boss monster, right? You will rip cards from hand, but when you need to actually kill your opponent, yeah, then, you know, sometimes it just kinda doesn't work. Racist Frieza build is kind of a weird one. So first off, I couldn't find a good version of the front side. I couldn't find a good version of a lot of things in this deck. These cards are ancient. So the idea is that on the front side you can't include Saiyans when you're building the deck. You just can't include them in the deck at all. Not play included. That's why we're calling it Racist Frieza. On this side, activate main once per turn. You get rid of one of your 1-drops. You send it to the drop, and then you rip one card at random from your opponent's hand, as well as just give one of your unisons critical. So yeah, that part not as important anymore. Now I do apologize for very shitty quality of these ones. They're very, very old. But you have Dodoria, Frieza's Devoted Servant. So auto, if your leader card is a green Frieza card and you have a green unison in play, if this card is placed in your drop area from your hand by a skill, you may play it from the drop area. And then active main, if your leader is a green Frieza card and you have a green unison in play, you add this card from drop to hand. So you have a couple of these small guys, right? You have that one. You also have this Zarbon here, which when it's played, it just 2 turns looks top 5, but also has Activate Battle, which says that if you have a unison card in play and you send this card from drop to warp, choose one of your leader or unison cards and it gets plus 10k for the turn. The one that's actually of a much better quality is Zarbon Cosmic Elite. Yeah, you can tell that this one is a newer reprint, right? Blocker, activate main for 1 energy, choose 1 green card in your hand and discard it. You play this one from your hand. So yeah, you can discard it to trigger some effects. If your opponent has 5 or more cards in hand, when this card is removed from the battle area by a skill which counts your leader skill, your opponent chooses 1 card in your hand and discards it. So yeah, you can just rip 2 cards from them. They get to choose 1. The big thing is just Healing Pod. Healing Pod has a lot of text, but the only thing that matters is that it's a field with auto once per turn. When you play a green battle card from your drop area, you draw 1, and you have ways of playing this. And then finally, your SCR. I believe that Porunga is probably the best one here, because with Porunga you play Porunga for 2 and you just rip 3 cards from their hand. You can make your opponent discard 3 and you draw 3. With all of hand destruction in this deck, this is basically a game closer. We're not running any actual unisons except the Golden Frieza, but we're running Z unisons because Z deck is basically your hand, right? Since the start of the game, it helps a lot with consistency. Now this one is a very fun one and a very, very overlooked one. This is Red Swap Frieza. So if you're new to the game, usually when you hear the words Swap Frieza or Frieza Swap, someone is referring to the yellow one. This is a red one. This one is ancient. So what does it do? For those of you who don't know what swap is, you return your cards back to hand to play bigger cards. I will be showing you this. So basically your 1-drop, so you pay 1, you play the 1 cost, and then it has an ability swap 2 for a 2-cost Frieza. So basically what you do is you reveal a 2-cost Frieza, you put the 1-drop back in hand and you play the 2-drop. And then that one has like pay 1, going to 3-drop. So it's just bouncing cards back. You can cheat out a massive boss monster. If you manage to play the massive boss monster, you basically win because it just annihilates everything and mills your opponent. You can play cards for free. There are 2 ways of doing this, with Z Leader and with a field card. You have very, very good consistency. Frighteningly good consistency, especially if you're playing 4 copies of Clan Commander, which is an insane card. You also have a crazy tempo once you get going. Once you get going with the new anniversary box support, not anniversary box, BT27 support and such. Yeah, this is insane. Or I don't remember, it was last year. And the problem is that it can be easily interrupted. If you're playing into black, you're dead, basically. If you're playing against the black, you're just dead. But yeah, decks which have counterplays like black does will eat you alive. Don't worry, this image isn't blurred, it's just that Frieza looks very, very weird in it. So, Frieza swap, or the red one, the bad one, right? So, active main, choose one card from your life and add it to your hand. Look at top 2 cards of your deck, just 2, and choose one red Frieza army card from among them and add it to your hand, and then bottom deck the rest. Yeah, this is really, really bad. When you're at 4 or less, you draw 1, you choose one of your energy, you switch it to active mode, and then you basically awaken. Now, when you're awakened, it is a bit better. Frieza Metamorphic Threat. When this card attacks, draw 1 card and activate main once per turn. Choose one red Frieza army card in your battle area, KO it, then choose 1 card in your hand and place it into your drop area. It gets plus 5k until the end of your opponent's next turn. Now, if this sounds kinda like ass, well, you know, it's because it is, which is why Bandai gave us this one. So, the Awaken, 1 red energy when your life is 3 or less, 20k. Auto once per turn. When you activate a swap skill, draw a card, choose one of your red Frieza battle cards, and it gets plus 5k for the turn, immediately better than the other 2. When a card is placed from your life into your drop by one of your Frieza card skills, add the top card of your deck to your life. Activate main, once per turn, play up to 1 Frieza army card, cost 3 and 15k from your hand. This is huge because you will be going over the 1 drops, basically. That's what you want to do. 1 and 2, you usually ignore them. You go into this dude. Frieza Combo Assault, a Deflect Dual Attacker, massive card. So yeah, but the big thing about this one is that it's swap 5 for 1 energy. Now let me just show you the entire chain so that you can understand what's actually going on here. You have this little dude. Yeah, it's an ancient card, I know. So Frieza Overture to Battle. Overture, I guess. Cool. It's a 1 cost. It's just a swap tool for free. It's a 5k. You play him, you immediately go into the 2 drop. This one also nothing special, just pay 1 energy, go into the free drop, and now you actually start going into the better ones. See, they even look better. This one is Barrier, swapped into 5 cost for 2 energy. The other one swaps for 1. That's the big thing here. That the one that you can also cheat out this one, but you want to do the newest one, so that you can go into your finisher for 1 energy, full power Frieza, 100% overdrive, triple strike, 30k. When this card attacks, choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring Barrier, and they get minus 30k power for the duration of the turn. Ignoring Barrier, wipe everything. But it also has the following ability, Auto. When the power of one of your opponent's battle cards is decreased, which is what you're doing, you're minusing them, your opponent places 2 cards from the top of their deck into the drop area. You mill them for 2. For each card, every single one you hit with your Auto and your other minusing abilities. You wipe the board, sometimes you mill like 10 cards with this one, and you're still swinging 30k triple. So yeah, that's basically red Frieza swap. You go into the Z Leader, lightning fast, for free you go into the newest free cost, the one that just swaps for 1 single energy, and then you're like, okay, dual attack, you swing twice for 15k, cool, no problem, and then you're just like, okay, cool, pay 1 energy and go into the big swap guy. So you can do this for one single energy on your turn, swing 30k, hopefully close the game. And finally we have a very toxic one, but still a fan favorite. This is Prison Frieza. Now this is the one that I'm worst with, so I'll be brief. I'll try to help you out. What does it do? It doesn't allow your opponent to play the game. That's basically it. That's what Frieza Prison does, or Prison Frieza. So the idea is you're just constantly taxing your opponent. You're constantly taxing them for attacking you, for doing basically anything. You run a ton of extra cards. This deck is filled with extra cards. You have a bunch of negates, floodgates, especially explosive dance, which you can loop. You will go into high energy with this deck, don't worry, because you have a billion ways to survive. You have a bunch of defense. You will play until like turn 6, 7, like depending what you're playing against. It can be exceptionally annoying to fight. Like your opponents will hate you because you're just preventing them from basically doing anything. But keep in mind that just because of the exceptionally high amount of extra cards, you do have limited combo power. So if your opponent somehow punches through your defenses, yeah, you need to keep those super combos and other cards in hand. Last but not the least, guys, here it is, Frieza Swap. Now this list is not super optimal. I am not the best when it comes to this deck. But basically on the front side, 10k red Frieza, you can't include battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less into your deck. So nothing can cost 3 or less. But only battle cards though. Only battle cards. So the cheapest one we have is a 4 cost. Activate main. Once per turn, look at top 5 cards and add 1 extra card among them to your hand, and then you shuffle the deck and you awaken it at 4 or less, draw 2 cards, and then of course you just flip the Frieza over. So a bit of a limitation, but it doesn't affect the Z deck. It only affects the main deck itself. Then when you awaken, you are basically Frieza the Majestic Emperor, 15k, active main, once per turn draw a card. That's great. Draw on active main is amazing because you don't need to rest to draw, you don't need to attack. Also, when this card is attacked by a battle card, you may choose 1 red Frieza army card from your hand, place it into your drop if you do negate the attack, and then negate this skill as well. So yeah, it's basically an extra negate which you can do once per turn. That's great. That's really, really strong. The rest of your deck is basically just a lot of extra cards. For example, you have Cease to Exist. This one is cool because, yeah, it is free energy, but you choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier. You give them minus 25k. That one alone just wipes things. And here is the big one. So you have this card, Loyal Kikuno. 4 cost, 10k, very, very small. Even 1 cost to combo 10k, so not the best card. When you play or combo with this card, so you can just combo with it instead, if your leader is a red Frieza army card, which this one is, choose up to 1 red extra in your drop area and add it to your hand. And the card that you are adding is Explosive Dance. It's a Bible. It's a word Bible, but basically what it does is it shuts off your opponent's turn most of the time. When you negate the attack when you're at 4 or less lives and you have a Z extra out, and then whenever they want to attack you, they need to sacrifice a whole bunch of Z energy. The other couple of cards that you have, well, you have this newest one. It's a Frieza Mental Fortitude. It's a 6 cost, but you play it for 1 energy. That one is pretty dope. It's a blocker 10k. If your leader is red and you have 3 or more energy, when you activate a mono red extra card such as Explosive Dance from your hand, by paying its cost, play this card from your hand, and this card can be KO'd for the turn. And then for 1 energy, you can discard a card to give this one plus 15k and double strike, and then you also give something minus 20. It's a 25k double striker blocker that plays itself for free. That's really, really cool. You do have a unison here in Frost for the clan. So yeah, but you also run Z unisons as well. Some of these Z unisons that you have are more, how do we put this? They are more situational than Frost. Frost helps out a lot. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below, which deck do you play? Which of these Frieza decks specifically do you play? So let me know in the comments. I read all of your comments. I try to respond to everything. I love our little community. And while you're here, hit those like and subscribe buttons. Help us get to 6k subs when I'm gonna give away a booster box. And of course, a huge shout out to the Coffee Club, our lovely patrons. These are our $2 and up patrons that buy us coffee. They keep this crazy content grind going. We have new editing and everything. And guys, thanks a lot for your support. Get ready for some even crazier shit to come out this month. This month is gonna be big. Anyways, guys, this has been Damien from The Lookout, and I'll see all of you in the next video.